Ramble.
Thank you to Raycon and BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. You shame me. Welcome to Guilty Pleasures, the show that loves what it loves. Guys, it's spooky season. We're talking about Halloween movies and horror movies. And today, we are delighted to talk about Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell, which I'm going to go out and say this right here, right now. I'm going to start the episode like this.
Holy shit.
And say, I, Zachary Kornfeld, think Drag Me to Hell is one of the greatest movies ever fucking made. This is not
ever made.
I am not bringing this in as a guilty pleasure. I am bringing this in as I have a podcast where I get to talk about movies, and it would be a freaking crime to get through October without sharing my love of this phenomenal film. How dare you, Kelsey? Welcome in, everybody. I'm Zach Kornfeld, joined by Garrick Bernard and Kelsey Darragh in the studio. How's everybody feeling today?
You said it's spooky season. Spooky does not equal terrifyingly scary, anxiety-inducing, jumping out, bad dreams.
Yeah, this was
devil,
truly terrifying.
Demonic shit. Yeah. Bitch, the fucking title card scared me. It came on the screen, and so Jared just went, funny. Oh no.
Yeah.
The opening of the movie, which we will talk about, but then there's this moment of silence, and then it smashes to the title, Drag Me to Hell, and the music goes,
yeah.
It's so frightening and so delightfully frightening.
Listen, I'm gonna start off the podcast backwards. Easy pleasure. Easy fucking pleasure. This movie is fucking phenomenal.
I've lost so much respect for both of you in such a short amount of time.
No, but you don't like horror movies. You were scared of the movie the whole time.
Exactly.
So that's not fair.
Okay, what went so right in your fucking lives that you like horror movies?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna say like, oh, I fucking jerk off to Saw or some shit like that. But I do.
Gore.
I mean, it's scary enough. When he comes out in the pig mask, it's like, oh, that's a jump scare right there.
Do you like Horror Nights?
No. One of the first times I met up with my friend group that I now love and enjoy so much. That I've known since middle school. We went to a Horror Nights and
like a haunted house.
No. Halloween.
Oh, like
the Universal
He
Studios
grew up in LA.
I forgot. Yeah. As people in the world may not know what Horror Nights is. So
we have a Horror Nights in Tampa.
All right.
There you go.
That's weird.
I got there late. And so they were already there, and I had to walk by myself through like the spooky maze, not the mazes, but like the zones where they can just come out.
Literally scare zones.
Yeah, where they can just come out and scare the shit out of you. And I'm walking around, hands up, like just fucking ready and ready for whatever. And I was like, this friendship better be fucking worth it because I do not want to be here right now.
You're like doing a fucking football.
Yeah, no, I turned into a goddamn mime where I'm just like putting up a fucking force field.
Now, was the friendship worth it?
Yes,
okay.
I've known them for years.
I'm realizing as you're talking that my high school relationship to these Horror Nights were like, you go with a guy that you're like talking to. Remember, I'm talking to him.
No.
And they never lasted.
Valid.
And so I think I'm associating like Horror Nights with like a horrible relationship to a guy who was just a whore.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't even mean to.
Triple wordplay.
I didn't mean to. But
all right.
I don't like being scared.
Okay.
I don't like being jumped out at.
Okay.
For both chronic pain experienced people, you should be highly sensitive to horror.
So I did flinch a couple times, and it did like set off my shit.
Oh no.
But
Zach, you owe
I was still thoroughly enjoying myself.
I love being scared. I love it so fucking much. And look, it would be wrong for us to get through an October sprint without doing one movie that has genuine jump out, like
terror,
scare the fuck out of you. By the way, can I tell you,
what?
This movie is PG-13.
What?
That's an aggressive PG-13.
You should be in therapy to see
that. That's how good Sam Raimi is at scaring the fuck out of you.
Fucking genius.
Okay, don't yell at me.
He came out with Spider-Man and this.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all that matters.
It makes no fucking sense to me that this is his like true core.
This is what he is.
Filmmaking.
Okay.
Give us the log line.
Please.
I have so much to say.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready because I want to know everything about this movie. I want to know how I missed it in 2009.
Yep.
I want to know what the era was around that. I know I was graduating around that time, so that's thank you so much. It's been a long road. Yeah.
For me, getting scared is one of the true joys of life.
Have you ever orgasmed?
Never.
Okay,
not
well,
once.
that might explain this.
Never once. But I see it as one, like a perfect group activity, but it's the joy of like being on a roller coaster, right? You have this simulation of death and then you laugh. So I am the motherfucker who is, I will gladly scream in a movie and then I am cackling.
You know,
I am laughing hysterically in horror movies.
Yeah. You know, Megan Thee Stallion has the exact same idea with horror movies.
Well, now I like it.
We should be best friends.
Yeah, you guys would get along.
I've always loved it, and there's such a campiness in horror films, an embracing of going over the top. I'll talk about it in a second, but like everything that I love about the movie going experience is in this movie.
Blood.
Mucus, blood, and vomiting.
I watched this while eating, and I had to stop eating.
A mistake.
Yeah.
All right, so just so we can get in, I'll give you guys the quick synopsis. Christine Brown is your everyday working girl trying to get a promotion at the bank where she works as a loan officer. And to get ahead, she denies a loan to Sylvia Ganush, a terrifying old woman. Because she has denied a loan, she puts a curse on Christine. The Lamia, a demonic creature, is gonna come in 3 days to drag her to hell forever. But in that time, Christine will be visited by the Lamia and absolutely fucking terrorized. It is the simplest plot ever. A girl fucks up, she gets cursed, she gets fucked with like crazy and has to find a way to not get dragged.
Do you see how this could maybe not be appealing to women? I'm like, life is fucking scary. Why do we have to fucking drag the blonde bitch? I mean, to be fair, a lot of us need to be dragged.
There was a cut scene where she put her keys in between her fingers.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, well.
I am obsessed with Sam Raimi. I consider him one of the greatest directors, but one of my truest influences as like for my what I love about filmmaking. We all have talked about Edgar Wright, right? And how we all love Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright learned it from Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, so the Evil Dead trilogy, which I love more than anything, one of the staples of modern horror.
Seen it.
Whew, you're missing out. He mastered this kinetic camera work, right?
Yeah.
The energy in his camera work is so out of control, over the top, and that's really on full display in Evil Dead.
The crazy punch-ins I fucked with, where it's just like, I'm here, or whatever the fuck. And I wish I was more like directorial savvy and all that stuff, so I can explain the shots and the zooms and blah blah blah. But I cannot. But
it's a really fucking scary good movie. Like everything you're talking about, like the jump scares,
perfectly
the quick
executed.
cuts, like the punch-ins, everything, the way that they edit it. It's gooey, it's gross, it's scary, it's spiritual.
As soon as she her fucking dentures came out, and there was like that.
Oh, the worst Foley of all fucking time.
The Foley artist was fucking on his shit.
Crack, you mean?
He was just like,
on crack, thinking this sounded good?
No, it sounded great.
The sound design is fantastic.
None of those things that made sound actually it's a caricature of a sound.
Yeah. But that's what makes it disgusting and gross and hilarious.
The sound design is one of my absolute pleasures of this movie.
I think that's the best part of the movie.
It is a masterclass of sound design.
She literally takes out her dentures and it sounds like this.
Takes out. Sorry for
that for that long.
But think about think about when you meet Miss Ganush. You have this her fingernails tapping on the table. And it is burned into my mind. It's so loud in your ear. And then she comes up, will you help me? And then as she's sitting there, her dentures come out. She's like snot. There's like snot squishing
spit all over the fucking table.
It is like
bitch is nasty.
Yeah, she's nasty, and you're like, even though she's sympathetic, you know
she's not.
that she's gross,
Never
that
once.
she's scary.
I immediately was like, oh, this is a demon woman.
Yeah.
I don't cross her.
Yeah.
Don't ever fuck with babushkas, bro.
Yes, that's what it is.
Babushkas, whatever the fuck. Don't leave them alone. And I'm getting to the point where I've seen so many horror films where I feel like every character should know what a horror film is.
Yes.
And know who
act
to cross
accordingly.
and who not to cross.
100%.
And act accordingly. If you see an old Russian woman with a scarf, don't fuck with her.
And a blue iced eye?
Yeah, no.
Bye.
No, I'm going to give you
walking the other
whatever
way.
you want.
This is why I don't fuck with old people in general.
In general.
They have
In general.
too many environmental, spiritual scars.
She looked like a walking ghost.
They've been around. They're gonna curse you, bro.
Yeah. They've got too much aura and energy soaked from their life experience. Like her at 15 was probably the most fucking chaotic bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Or do we think she was just born into a sack of bones?
No, I think she was bad as shit. And not at 15. Ugh.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh god.
15 for a girl is different.
22.
At 22. All right, Zach, what's your personal connection?
Yes, please.
Life is stressful now, seemingly more than ever, and it's really helpful to have someone to talk to, a time in your life, in your week, where you can just reflect, and that is why I use and love BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You get to connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so easy. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. To me, the best part is its flexibility. But with BetterHelp, there's really no excuse. You can do it from the comfort of your home, no time of traveling to and from. You get to schedule video or phone conferences once a week. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. This is professional counseling done securely online. They have licensed professional counselors who are specialized in depression, anger, stress, anxiety, LGBT matters, relationships, and so much more. So many people are using BetterHelp. They're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. We want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/guiltypleasures. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Better, HELP.com/guiltypleasures. So this movie came out in 2009, I believe the same week as Up. And when I tell you, I was fucking thriving that week at the movies. But it really genuinely encapsulates everything I love about going to the movies, okay?
Yeah.
It's got this perfect sound design, this over-the-top kinetic camera moves, a full embrace of camp in what is an emotionally grounded plotline. But really, genuinely, what I love more than anything is the group experience of this movie. I love going to the movie theater, and when I tell you that people screamed their fucking heads off and then laughed, and then I've shown this movie, I'm so sad that we couldn't watch this as a group, because I love seeing horror movies with my friends, listening to them scream, listening to your friend scream, and then we laugh, and then you scream, and we all laugh. It is just, it's an experience that cannot be recreated, and it's a thing to me that makes movies the closest experience I have to religion. That feeling of being in a church, like that energy that you get from other people, it makes me feel so fucking alive. And I think that all of those things, all of those senses are just turned up in a horror movie, because you are, you know, the act of filmmaking is the act of manipulating emotions. And horror directors are some of the absolute best at using this medium of film and all of the tools at their disposal. Mise en scène, sound design, scoring, editing. They're using all of these things to crawl inside of your brain and affect the way you feel. And I fucking love, this is my comfort movie.
Wow.
I could watch this movie any time of the day.
That's beautiful.
God.
Like all year round. I've seen this movie more than most movies. It will never get old. It just brings me so much pure, unfettered joy.
Yeah.
See, I can identify with the like religion thing. I feel the same way. Like going to movies is meditative. It's an experience. It's like a learning process. I get so much out of it, and exactly what you're saying. Like I love being manipulated, and that's the only time ever in my life. But grounded story. I wrote, this was the most offensively simple storyline of like, woman wants promotion at bank, cannot gets cursed, cannot uncurse, dies.
Yeah.
I hated that part, but I realized they have
I'm
to
sorry,
do that.
but did you love John Wick?
I never saw it.
Man gets his wife killed, or his wife dies. She gives him a dog. Dog gets killed. He murders everyone.
Spoilers.
Oh well, I'm sorry, but I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. I think that a lot of very, very good movies come from simple.
Sure, but I think specifically
premises.
with horror, they have to do it because you need so much time to build scary, to like have anticipation, to do the creaky stair moment, to do the running from a shadow, to have the fight with the old lady and have her suck on your chin.
That was fucking hilarious.
That took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, no wonder they can only have girl wants promotion at bank. They don't have time for dialogue and story, really.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still like a believable story. That's still a believable place to start.
It felt like
to
The
like
Sims.
deny a... Sure.
It just felt like I was watching The Sims a little
Yeah.
bit. Like even the way she looked was so generic. I don't know.
What you're saying actually is one of my pleasures of the movie, right? It takes a really simple plot. You understand this character incredibly efficiently. You know what she wants, and then it just finds a way to
blow it the fuck up.
It plays on this premise, you know?
That's like regular show. Where regular show is just like, oh, I want an electric keyboard. How the fuck by the end of the episode are we on the moon?
Right.
You know, like
Right.
that shit is
Right.
that is special.
Fair.
I think that it is very special to expand and extract any ounce of a really simple thing into
and it goes chaotic and it builds on itself. But I think for a movie, I was wanting anything more. I was like, oh, the boyfriend's gonna be in on the curse, or like the boyfriend's gonna come from the history.
You
and
don't
like,
need it.
None of it happened.
Look, it's purely
Especially
an
in a-
exercise in Sam Raimi stunting on everybody.
Yeah.
Just flexing his muscles and saying, I am going to show that I am better at executing this shit than anybody else. And you were talking about Sam Raimi's career.
Yeah. And then he made Spider-Man.
He started with Evil Dead, then changed superhero movies forever with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This was his grand return to horror after about like 20 years or something. So this was a big
How'd
deal.
it do?
It did okay. I mean, like this, I don't think
Is it well reviewed? Like, do people like it?
Yeah, it's a very well reviewed movie. This is not a guilty pleasure.
No,
this is just
this
a movie
feels
that
like a
I
cheat.
think hasn't gotten its time.
Yeah.
I have to go off of this was an emotion invoking movie and I'm angry at I left not feeling good. I wasn't like, ooh, that was so what a release. I was scared. I had bad dreams.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I jumped. My anxiety was through the fucking roof.
It's like The Shining. I think that The Shining is the greatest movie of all time. But it's the same shit where it's just like family gets stuck in an old hotel. Great. And what the fuck is happening with this hotel? The hotel is a character. It's like
that's
throwing
another
all kinds
thing
of
with,
like weird shit at you.
Right. I think that's another reason why it like you guys love it because it's campy. And I was like, this feels like caricatures of a situation. Like the woman was so the most version of like a spooky, demonic, like cursed lady.
Oh, the old lady?
Yeah. And like the blonde was just the most...
You want realistic horror.
Yeah, maybe I need more realistic horror.
You want Hereditary.
Fuck no. I saw the trailer for that shit.
I'm curious to know because I've spilled out my passion, my guts on the table, but we're talking very mile high here.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
So let's get into some
nitty-gritty.
scenes, and I want to know what scared the fuck out of you, Kelsey.
Literally, the title card says like ghost house, and it jumps on screen, and I wrote down no, and then I put my phone away, and Jared was like, "You have to watch this." And here's the other thing: is like watching with Jared, he was drinking a lot of alcohol, and so when we were watching, I'm like cuddled up with him, like holding my chest the entire time, and he kept going, bah. And here she comes, and like he kept trying to predict, and it was never right, and I was like, "Fucking stop!" Maybe I should watch this alone, but I can't watch this alone because I'm fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Like literally from the beginning, where like
the opening is such a I literally wrote back in my notes like, this is how you start a movie.
Yes.
So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, my guy Juan is gone. Like,
my
where
God.
did he go?
This
like,
10-year-old boy This 10-year-old boy is brought to like a Spanish witch doctor of sorts, and he stole something. He's seeing these visions, and the beginning opens with a 10-year-old boy being literally dragged to hell and dying.
I was like, I'm good. I got it.
This movie is saying, fuck you. Okay. We're throwing all the punches.
Yeah. But it did say, I'll see you again. She said, I'll see you again. I don't know what that meant. And I don't think they really... or he really did anything with that.
No, that's the woman at the end.
Yeah,
I know it's a woman at the end, but she says, I'll see you again to the boy, right?
No, to the Lamia.
To the Lamia. Oh. I kept calling it the llama, too.
Yeah, she was basically, this woman is like, to the demon is like, we're going to dance again.
So it starts with I don't know if it's necessarily a flashback, but it just starts the timeline way in the past to show like this thing has been a very spoopy, since the beginning of time kind of version of a demon. Like hell definitely exists. And then we go to present day.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Then you get the opening credits with an incredible score by Mr. Christopher Young, who does happen to be a father of one of my best friends. But it's... And if you go to Halloween Horror Nights, they play that soundtrack all the time, even though it's not a well-known movie. But the soundtrack fucking slaps. But you get this like demonic, like going back to like... wealthy. Old Latin times. Yeah,
it's a lot of royalty.
Yeah. But so you get placed in the present day, which is like just this girl who unintentionally, like that's the other thing is I think most horror films I know it's like they move into a haunted house or like they're cursed by like a family heirloom or there's a doll that gets inherited. This was like bad luck. Like this chick interacts with this old woman and it's like shit.
I think that the ultimate villain here was capitalism. Because she is literally just trying to come up in the world and she wants to fuck somebody over because of it or whatever. She's like, I mean, you're going to lose your house. And she's literally begging. And then that decision curses her and takes another person's life because they're so stressed out about it.
And you have the manager. No, she wants to be the manager. Her boss at the bank, who's played by the dad from Dave.
He's great.
He's so funny.
He's in everything.
Like the most Jewy McJewerson.
I love him. I believe anything he does.
But he's, to your point, he's like, well, it's a tough call. If we foreclose on her, we get to take her house and make a lot of money.
Right.
And it's so like,
and he's like, it's literally up to you. And she has to make a choice, but she's so driven by, you're right. It's
by capitalism and trying to come up in the workforce.
And then when she has the chance to fuck it back in the butt, she doesn't.
Right.
I feel like there is, an allegory within there about how to rise in the corporate world, you have to make soulless decisions.
Your soul,
I've seen some critiques of the movie of like how we are watching a woman try and rise in the workplace, and then she is punished for doing that and literally goes to hell. Yeah. And so I think you could argue that as a fair critique.
They pitted a white lady against an Asian man for the position of assistant manager.
Stu, who is her competitor, is such a perfect dickhead in this movie. Yeah. He is such a dickhole.
Yeah. He's the guy that should be cursed, which is also why I was kind of sad. Is I was like, no, you got the wrong guy.
Oh, she should be cursed.
Yeah, fair enough.
She should be cursed.
Fair enough.
Garrick, we were talking about the sounds and also the stuff going in mouths and out of things.
The sounds, I think that the sounds makes this movie. I think that it is truly some of the best sound design I've heard. Yep. It is seconded only to this really, it's not obscure, but random anime called Fire Force. And it is about firefighters, and the sound design of that is incredible. But this is, I've never been more like creeped out by like noises or like any type. I'm creeped out by fucking wind.
Yeah.
The LA a couple nights ago when we watched this, it was the wind was blowing. Windy as shit. And I'm hearing like
my disco ball away.
The timing was truly disturbing. Yeah. But it's like I think that it's either you make your movie really silent and really like quiet and still, or you just turn that shit up to 11. Why would you play these caricatures of people, do these extra camera moves that are like really aggressive and sharp, and then have soft sound? No, it's gonna be just as much of an
I'm
exaggeration.
agreeing more with you in that, like, if we're turning the dial up to 11 and we stay there, you have to give a nod to like the fight scene in the beginning where she's fighting an old woman.
Hell yes.
It's literally within the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and she's beating the fucking shit out of a.
Yeah,
it's not like she's
out of an old
like
woman.
maybe she's like a witch or whatever. Like maybe she has some. She doesn't really have superpowers.
No, but the movie just assumes immediately that everyone has superpowers.
She staples an old woman's eye shut.
Yep.
Hilarious.
She fucking punches her in the face.
She throws a ruler down her throat.
And then when she coughs it up, and it's such force that it goes through glass.
Yeah. See, this is the shit where I'm like, I guess I just wasn't. I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's so much going on in the world, whether it's stuff you're excited about, Halloween's right around the corner, or stuff you'd rather not think about. God, I gotta get candy for all these kids. You can't always control the vibes out there, but you can always control the vibes in your head with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears. Raycons are great. We've been talking about them forever. You know it. You love it. I'm not going out anywhere without headphones. I've become hopelessly addicted to my podcasts and my music, and the idea of grocery shopping without Raycons in my ears, like why would I ever do that? And now their new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They're impressive, frankly, before you even start listening. And then when you start listening, you go, well, wow. They have different listening modes where you can optimize the profile of your headphones to what type of music you're listening to. That is so smart. And they start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. Right now, you guys can get 15% off your Raycon order at buyraycon.com/guilty. That's BUYRaycon.com/guilty to save 15% off on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/guilty. The movie is a lot, and that's why it's so much fun to watch with people. And by the way, that scene, which is so scary, she's like in this car. There's this incredible shot where the camera slowly turns around, and the old woman's in the backseat of her car, and she just slowly leans forward into the light, and you see just the sliver of her eye in green, and she just goes,
that was scarier than a jump
and then
scare.
boom, and then we're fighting, and it's so while they are fighting, there's this one point where Miss Ganus grabs her hair and she's reaching for the
joystick?
The joystick of her car. What's it called? Garrick?
The shifter.
The shifter. Thank you.
Joystick? Have I taught you all nothing?
So she's reaching for the joystick, and instead of being horror music, the music is dung 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 dung, and it's fucking like comedy jazz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to stop here. This is something that I love about Sam Raimi that I neglected to mention. So he is not just a horror director. He does something what he calls splatstick. And I think that all of his movies need to be watched through that lens. His biggest influence is not Alfred Hitchcock. It's not it's not any of the great horror directors who have come before him. It's the Three Stooges.
Oh, wow.
That makes so much more fucking sense.
Yeah.
He's making slapstick comedy horror movies.
What did you call it?
Splatstick. That's what he calls it.
Great.
And it is like, and that's all he's ever done.
Had I accepted all of this before watching it, I could have gone into it being like, the fact that her dentures fall out and then she sucks on her chin to a degree that like, I don't think I could ever give a blowjob again just because of the slurping noises that I heard.
I'm so sorry, Jared.
I had to cross my legs during that scene.
Yes, I was like, what the fuck is that? That is horrifying.
Yeah.
An old woman, dentureless, sucking on your chin. It happens thrice in this fucking movie.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
That is horrifying.
It's truly every moment that she can suck on her chin, she sucks on her chin.
Fucking chin.
Even her dead body sucks on her chin.
Yes.
It's so
and
fucking
pours
funny.
Body fluid formaldehyde into the mouth, which like we didn't give that enough fucking camera attention. But
like the movie is. It's just entertaining. It's a movie for entertainment's sake.
Yes.
If you you make everything super real, you just end up with life. And I don't want that. I truly don't. Especially if we're talking about demons and shit. Like I was never really allowed to like raise Christian, all that stuff. Never allowed to even say hell or like see anything hell based or anything like that. And then I read Dante's Inferno in high school and I was like, yo, demons are sick as fuck, bro. All of those rings, I want to see them. All that, but I mean, I don't want to, knock on wood, all that shit.
Yeah, you're fine. You're saved.
But I don't come into anything called Drag Me to Hell or anything dealing with demonic presences as life. I don't want it to be realistic. I already knew it was going to be supernatural. I already knew it was going to be elevated to some point. So why? I don't know why you would expect for
because I don't watch
for
horror,
vomit to not go down a throat.
Yeah,
like that's just what it is.
Sorry, did you not expect her to get her chin sucked on 3 times?
I did not expect that. I did not expect her to kill her own cat.
We just watched Jennifer's body.
Listen, but Megan Fox is so hot.
She is, and it's very distracting.
The killing
distracts you from everything else.
The killing of the cat is a tough one to stomach, but
wasn't for me.
But no, it wasn't.
She had to do it.
She had to do it.
Yeah, like, it's just it is what it is.
This is fucked up.
Yeah, and they didn't show it, which is great, but they showed everything else.
Yeah.
And it's played as an incredible joke where they say you need to sacrifice an animal, and she sees her cat, and when you're in a crowd, everyone goes no,
and she does.
And then she's like, I'm not gonna do it, and then she gets fucking terrorized.
Yeah.
Like just, I think that's the one where the hooves, the shadow of the hooves go up the door, and then it turns into a shadow of arms outstretched. And then after the Lamia leaves, the very next shot is her going, here, kitty, kitty.
That's so funny.
Good.
That's fucking comedy.
That's funny to me. And that's why I was confused, because I think of horror as like, again, really like The Shining. There's not really comedy in that. This was so genre bending that it was like campy in 1 minute, real as fuck the next. Like then it was jokey and like it was a lot going on. But what I kept coming back to, and maybe this is like an all horror thing when it's a horror of this type.
Yeah.
I just kept being like, leave. Stop going towards the danger. And maybe that's like a trope or a stereotype that's like every horror film character is like, yeah, but like go be around people. Go sit with your 8 closest friends and in a cop in the police station.
Yeah.
Like show people.
She's gonna
like,
call
get
the
help.
cops on a demon?
Get help.
Kelsey, what are you talking
Fair
about?
enough. We should not be calling cops for anything mental health related.
They're worthless.
But I'm saying, like, go help. Go get help for this. From your friends. She kept it so internalized. She was afraid to tell anyone the truth. The only guy that believed her was this like neighborhood palm reader that ended up being like legit as fuck.
I love
that
dude.
Yeah,
so much. In everything he's in, I'm like, oh, he's legit.
What else is he in? Because I also
Inception.
Inception, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the actor, and I apologize, but
his name is Dilip Rao.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
But she just like never. She tried to take on too much alone.
I hope I said that correctly.
I have, by the way, I went to an anniversary screening of Drag Me to Hell, and he was there, and he was like super amped to just be part of this.
He's legit. He's such a good actor. He's such a good subtle actor too. And in a movie like this, pulling off subtlety is very hard. And he did it.
Yeah. He probably played, funnily enough, the most grounded character for me.
He did.
And he's funny.
Yeah. Something we haven't touched on, which I feel like we have to acknowledge, is the fact that Justin motherfucking Long is in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Crossroads own Justin Long.
What the fuck? When he came on screen, I literally went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Justin Long?
No,
why?
he came on screen and I was like, that makes sense.
What?
That makes
Justin Long is just the perfect derpy boyfriend.
Yeah.
There's no one better at playing that role.
Yeah. Where when he is the boyfriend, I was like, oh, there's not going to be a relationship problem at all. He's going to stick by her through everything. He might have like a little bit of a I don't know what you're talking about, babe. And then he's going to believe it. And
we
happened.
Look, we meet him, and he's a coin collector.
Yeah.
Like this
He's
fucking
a
adorable nerd.
psychologist.
with truly one of the best hidden Chekhov's guns I have ever seen in my
what the
fucking
fuck?
life.
What is that?
The coin?
Yeah.
Chekhov gun. What it defines.
Oh.
So, I mean, listen. The ending of this fucking movie.
It was good.
Is on another level. This is the same shit as Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
Same
Never seen
shit
it.
as Upgrade.
Yep.
bad things happen to people.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit doesn't work out. It doesn't wrap up in a bow. She does this whole thing where she has this envelope and she's like, can I give this gift back to the person that cursed me?
Yes.
And she has this whole fight with a dead body, and she's in a fucking grave and all that stuff. She gives it to she sticks it down her throat. It's all triumphant.
Yeah.
It's raining. She wins. She finally wins. She gets out of the grave and she's like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch, coat. Dog. Look at me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go and buy this fucking jacket. I'm going to go on this vacation with my new hubby. And then he's like, oh, I got this button. The button that has been cursed, and all of this stuff. You were messing the envelope switched. You must have accidentally taken the one that had the coin in it. Blah blah blah. She sees the button. She's like, no. She falls onto a train track, and then she gets dragged to hell. And then it cuts to the titles. I jumped out of my fucking chair, and I was like, let's go.
It's great.
Let's fucking go.
I like that she doesn't fucking win. The whole movie is a failure. It's
her failing.
It's called Drag Me to Hell, and it's great too because it's his character intro. You think you're just seeing something
nerdy.
So he's like, oh, look at Justin Long. He's fucking dork. Of course he collects coins.
But you didn't think it was weird that his dad randomly brought it up at dinner? Like, hey, he's still collecting coins? I was like, guys.
I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Oh, really? His dad says it. And I was just like, okay.
Kelsey was desperate to pay attention to anything
other than the fucking scares.
Let me get the realist storyline here. It's character driven. What was I going to fucking say? Oh, so obviously I was so upset last night and I was like, well, I can't fall asleep. I also made the mistake of starting this at 10 p.m. last night. Yeah, it was bad. I also wasn't sleeping in my own bed. So it was just like very weird dreams because I was like, where am I? But I looked up a little bit about this movie because I was like, I want to know. I, for some reason, thought there was a sequel. And I read an interview with the director and he was like, the reason why I don't want to do a sequel is because that ending fucking rocks.
Yeah. Like, he was like, I fucking nailed it. Are you out of your fucking... Look at me.
You want another one?
Look in my eyes. Look in my eyes.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yes.
That's it.
That
if I did a second one, I will do Spider-Man 4 and I will make it even worse.
And he said, I will do another one when someone brings me a script that is better than this ending. And I was like...
Did he write it or no?
Him and his brother.
Oh, amazing.
Together. Which I also just love that. That's such a like Duplass thing where it's
such
like
a cool, like fucking full
you
circle
and your
ending.
Family writing, making content together.
Gotta
Very
do
cool. But yeah, I liked that the ending was the whole movie was a failure. Like nothing worked. The seance, the calling, the goat slaying, the brouhaha.
Can we talk about the goat? This scene is so just goes there full insane where they have to attempt to summon the Lamia and transfer it into a goat so that they can kill the goat and kill the Lamia. And so you have
math doesn't make sense here.
A possessed goat.
An animatronic?
Tracks to me.
Was it animatronic?
Yeah, it seemed animatronic.
They could have I guess
no,
2009.
they can't CGI. They couldn't CGI vomit into a mouth.
Yeah.
But you have a demon goat saying, you and then it like bites someone's arm and becomes this. It's just such a crazy, awesome scene. I fucking love it.
It's just so silly.
Yeah.
It's silly.
I think the spiritual successor to all of these are the Insidious movies. And I don't know if anybody has seen like how weird and campy those are, but are truly terrifying at points. Yeah. There's a jump scare in the middle of the day. Like story time.
Oh boy.
Story time.
I'm short. My cousins are all giants. They're like 6'4", 6'5", right? And they're all younger than me. When there's a scene in Insidious where it is broad daylight. The two characters are having a conversation. They're shot dirty or whatever, and it's just over the shoulder. And there's having normal over breakfast, and it just goes back to one character, goes back to you, Kelsey, goes back to me, goes back to you, goes back to me, goes back to you, and there's just a demon just on her shoulder, just whatever. When I tell you this 6'4", 13-year-old, 185 pounds at the time, screams at the top of his lungs, put his hands on his cheek, just like it was the funniest thing I have ever experienced in my life. I laughed so hard that I coughed and I got sick.
Oh no! You coughed yourself into sickness.
I coughed myself into sickness. I lodged something in my lung or whatever, and I just
right there is the joy of horror
films.
films.
Go get a fucking ice cream with your friends.
It was
makes me really happy. Like, I don't know, nut tap, you know, a guy in high school. That to me brings laughs. I don't need to fucking raise my blood pressure.
I don't know. I think that you need to see it in a better group setting, because if you see this, like, go to like a black theater and hear these kids truly tear this movie apart.
But who are you holding on to?
Run!
You're not holding on to yourself when you're watching this?
I mean, I'll hold on to the chair a little bit, or I'll just jump a little.
My whole thing was I have to be wrapped in a fucking foil blanket or some shit.
Yeah.
I need to feel safe when the world feels so unsafe. And to your point of like the scary jump scare during the day shit, a lot of this movie took place during the day, which is also why it was so unsettling, is because I was like, I don't know. There's so many cues that you think are like, oh, this is going to be a scare. Oh, here comes the demon. So I know something scary is going to happen. No, none of that schedule made sense in this fucking cut. It just,
You're
threw
never
me off.
safe.
I was like, I'm a filmmaker. I can see everything coming. I know how to do the tricks with the cutting back and forth. Didn't catch anything.
Well, that's great. I'm thrilled to hear that.
I'm furious.
And it's like so much of the triumph of this movie is that it makes things that aren't scary so scary through the way that it's shot, directed, and sound design. Like, there's this one scene where she runs into a kitchen and it whip zooms out and all the pots and pans are clanging.
Oh, yeah. That's
and like,
scary as fuck.
But why is that scary?
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't be scary.
Because it was loud.
Because it's loud.
The
and
noise.
the sound
design
choices are perfect. There's this one, I always think about this with horror films. There's this scene in Alien where it's this incredibly tense scene where it's like beep, 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 and they're going with a blowtorch and they're trying to find the alien, and then finally you see him. I won't do the whole long tension. I won't drag it out. But it's this long tension scene, and you turn to him, and it's the sound of, like, if you listen to it and break it down, it's like this layered sound of like a falcon, like. But if you look at it, if you watch this, and it's so scary, everyone in the class jumps. We watched this in film school. But if you watch it back,
I'd fail.
If you watch it back on mute, it's just a fucking dude in a suit going, "Da!" like with jazz hands. Like it's so laughably not scary.
Yeah.
But you need all the elements, and sound is like that is king in horror
for sure.
Can I give a pleasure?
Oh my god!
I have one pleasure.
Yeah.
I wrote, "This is Drag Me to Hell, the ghost that bitch slaps you." This movie bitch slapped a mother, a father, an innocent woman, a child, a white lady. This ghost wind did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
The fact that it just kept bitch slapping people across the room had me.
It's
I was
so
like,
funny.
This is again fucking terrifying. If I just got bitch slapped across a table and had no idea where it was coming from, I would never last a second in these fucking films. Is also probably why I'm so upset.
There's something I'm curious if you guys noticed, and I've always wondered if this is a secret, like, subplot of the movie or a theme. There's so much. Well, I'm wondering if I should do this first. I'll also add just a trigger warning if I'm going to talk briefly about eating disorder. So if that triggers anyone.
Oh, yeah. This was guilty as charged.
So there is so much, like comically so much, going in and out of her mouth the entire movie. We've talked about there's 18 different types of vomit. And when we first,
she gets fisted in the mouth at one point.
That was.
I was like, ooh,
hilarious.
I'm kind of hard.
But there is a shot very early in the movie when we first meet her. She looks in the window of a pie shop and like has this yearning, and we see this little photo of her at one point where she used to be chubbier when she was younger, and then she like lost weight to be a professional woman. And
it's fat phobic as shit.
It's definitely fat phobic, and
it makes no sense.
It's
also
background fat phobic, but I wonder like if they at one point had a bulimia storyline for her
that they just cut.
Yeah,
and they were like, yeah, but keep all the shit
because
going on
her
her
being
mouth.
big had nothing to do with
nothing.
it.
And she was from a farm.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, you were a piggy whore." They called her at one point.
Piggy whore.
It was like, what the fuck does that have to do with it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No,
and I've wondered if
guilt.
there is like depth there where this is showing the horrors of it. But I think that they cut that, or if it was there, maybe they're just like, let's not do anything with that.
Someone was like, this is offensive enough.
It's just like, don't muddy it. I think that it's such a pure story.
Yeah.
I don't even think they should have had. I think that
at all.
they had that backstory because it was needed for the
her
for
mom's
any
an
type
alcoholic,
of
her dad died. Like there's these little bits of her past life that you're just like, that changes nothing about today.
Right.
Like you are cursed by a random stranger. It has nothing to do with your upbringing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it doesn't affect your relationship. Does it maybe affect the way you trust or feel safe or advocate for yourself maybe?
But what I think this movie did find through whether that was ever a plot or not that was cut, it did find something that very few other movies have found. And that is that things being vomited into your mouth and out of your mouth is just so deeply unsettling and like squirmy
comical.
Unsettling in such an over the top. Like, what can we just list the things?
Yeah.
We have
blood. She
blood.
vomits blood straight into her boss's face.
Yeah. And then he says, did I get any in my mouth?
Yeah.
It's a lot of mouth horror.
Yeah.
I hate eye horror, like people getting stabbed in the eyes or like somebody getting cut.
That
or
I can't.
Too vulnerable.
I cannot do that.
vulnerable.
It's too vulnerable. That is the only exposed organ on your body.
But you have a dead woman vomit green bile into someone's mouth. I'm on board.
I couldn't do it. I didn't know that something going into your mouth was that terrible. I was gagging the entire time.
I was eating ice cream.
Oh,
while I
what a
was watching
mistake.
That.
You don't eat anything.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I haven't eaten in 24 hours.
Oh, great.
Except a fly flew in my mouth.
Ew.
Do you remember that in the movie?
Well, yeah, that's why I said it.
Did a fly really fly in your mouth?
No.
Oh, that would be so
just
scary.
said it.
That is the tensest scene for me to watch. Still to this
When
day.
a fly goes
it
up
going
her
into her
nose,
nose.
one hole and goes out the other.
And she's sleeping and it's like just crawling so slowly around.
No.
Again, like going back
Gross.
to Dante's Inferno shit, that's like the imaginative horror shit. That's like if you are going to hell, there's no holds barred, like they're going to do all of the terrible things to you. They're going to throw up in your mouth. They're going to put flies up your nose. All of the things
It's so 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
It is. It
Isn't
is.
it? This
It's
movie
very
is.
Human Centipede.
Didn't think we'd get that reference today.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And like for anyone who's listening who maybe has turned this off already, who is like
Hilarious.
who thinks that this is like, oh, I can't. Why?
I don't think our listeners should watch this movie. That's the other thing.
Take it from me. I am
think
our
that-
audience.
I think it's a really good movie, but I think that you should go in knowing
what it is.
Knowing what it is.
Be with a bunch of friends.
Be with a bunch of
It's like
friends.
taking shrooms. Be in a place you trust, with
Yes.
people you trust.
Yes, 100%.
Make it daylight. Go outside.
Right. This
Dragon
is not
Hell
just
is
one
the,
that you...
The shrooms of horror movies.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's our title.
And
for
it's a
sure
bad
not something you
fucking
do by
trip.
yourself.
All
It is not
right.
something... I did it by myself and I was just like, I shouldn't have done this.
You
done it
did it by
together.
yourself?
Yeah, I watched it
Oh,
alone.
hell, motherfucking
Yeah,
no.
I watched it alone. Yeah.
It's a group activity. Like, and you need it. And I was gonna liken it to the violence to Kill Bill. Like it's that level of like
yes.
this is
It's
so
absurd.
so much. All of the Tarantino movies, because
Yeah.
Django was like this
Yeah.
as well. Where
So
it's
that's
just
why
like,
Where
I
you're
think
just,
you
like,
can
so
do
aggressive.
it, right? If
What?
you're like, oh, I can't do violence and gore. Like this isn't gore. This isn't gory in a way that you're
my
like, oh, it's
God.
so like I'm watching guts. It's just crazy.
yeah, it's I didn't know that bodily fluids would scare me this much.
It's 6 genres of movie and into what's labeled as a horror film. I think you have to go into it realizing too. It's like I didn't know I was supposed to laugh.
I think it's
So
only
when-
2 genres of movie.
When
I think
Jared's
it's a comedy and a
laughing,
horror.
I'm upset.
Oh God,
You didn't think it was like a little bit of like a who's gonna win the assistant manager position? Then you've got this like sweet love story with his family. They spend time at the house with the evil parents. It's like
No,
I
I
felt
think
like
that's-
Cinderella. I
think
felt
that's true like sitcom things.
Yeah.
Those are all sitcom situations that you throw in.
okay. Seeing it as a sitcom, where when you said Three Stooges, I was like, I'm changing my mind. I don't like this fucking movie.
Yeah,
Let me
you don't
make that
like
very
it.
clear.
Yeah.
This will not change. I'm voting this as a guilt. Spoiler alert. But like now I'm okay with it existing.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about the parent scene, it is like they just put
Yeah.
her where is the worst place
Yes.
to have a demon
Yes.
terrorize you.
Yeah.
At
And
your
She thinks that
boyfriend's parents' house.
At that point,
thinks that she's gotten rid of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then an eyeball pops out of her fucking soup or whatever she's eating.
Her cake.
Her goose
moist
egg cake.
Yeah.
And then she coughs and a fly comes out that went into her mouth a day ago. And I was like, how the fuck did that fly survive in her body?
How do we describe that like metal crunching sound whenever the lamia is coming?
Yeah.
Oh,
Scratching nails on a chalkboard?
It's worse than that. It's so good.
Scratching nails on a chalkboard and having your period?
I don't know what it is in me. Like, I genuinely, like, and obviously I was going to say, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with me. There's a lot of people that love horror films. But, like, I don't know why little sweet old Zach Kornfeld loves this shit so much, but nothing makes me laugh more.
I think it should have a comeback just because the title is called Drag Me to Hell, sis. Like, I think we should, like, let the kids of this generation decide.
I don't think the kids of this generation should have anything or decide anything.
Come on, they're changing. They're change makers. They're making things a little bit better. They're better than the fucking generation before us.
That's fair.
Our parents, sans our parents.
I mean, keep in mind, we are the live, laugh, love generation. So we've got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Here's what it did give me. It gave me the confidence to potentially watch another spoopy movie.
Oh my God.
But not what the fuck you guys are talking
Hereditary?
about. I want to go Evil Dead, what you said.
Evil Dead. Yeah. So
Jump scares?
This is the interesting thing about Evil Dead. The first Evil Dead, which I almost brought as one of our movies for this month, but I chose this instead because it needs the light shined on it.
Yeah.
The first Evil Dead is a low budget horror movie that is genuinely terrifying.
Oh, no, never mind.
It's the first cabin in the woods movie.
Oh, never mind.
You have this incredible point of view camera and like the forest is haunted. The second movie, after Sam Raimi had a little bit of acclaim, he got more money. And by the way, that first movie, he raised money from dentists in his town. It's low budget.
That.
The second movie is a comedy remake of the exact same movie.
What?
It's the same exact plot with the same lead character, but it's a comedy.
Same actor?
Same actor, Mr. Bruce Campbell, the king of Halloween. And then at the end of the second movie, he to defeat the evil in the woods, he gets sucked through a portal and wakes up in the medieval times where this curse begins.
The restaurant?
No, like the actual
like
age.
Florida was showing.
The actual age. Like he goes back in time. And the third movie, Army of Darkness, which is the campiest of campy movies ever made, is just a comedy of a guy fighting demons in the medieval times.
Is Evil Dead the one with the
chainsaw
hand?
Have you never seen Evil Dead?
I've never seen Evil Dead.
Garrick?
Should we watch these at your house in the daytime?
Guys, we got some work to do.
I feel like that's the only place I'd feel safe. If Bowie's around, we get snacks.
Honestly, I'd probably just start you on Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
It's more fun and like Evil Dead is wonderful, but you're not going to like it for that reason.
But here's what's crazy is this director
Sam Raimi
has done
Spider-Man
so much.
Yeah, he's about to direct the new Doctor Strange.
I was just gonna ask what's he's clearly got a full slate. No?
He directed Oz the Great and Powerful starring James Franco, and also Love and Basketball. Like he has a huge
what?
Yeah, he's had a long career, and I mean
what
he really
is.
is
Man eating
one of the greats. Like
I want to get on what he's on.
Time has forgotten that Spider-Man 2 is
the
best
sequel of all time.
Yeah.
The best. It's the best.
Yeah.
Wow. Is he have any horrors on the?
And by the way,
okay. Yes.
You remember what makes Spider-Man 2 the best scene in that movie is when Doc Ock comes to life. That scene is a horror scene. It's fucking Evil Dead in the middle of Spider-Man.
How did he transition from horror to action?
Well, that shit happens all the time.
Well,
Really?
I mean, a lot of directors start in horror because with a low budget, you can achieve a lot and show your directing chops. But he directed this really dope Western.
That makes a lot of sense of all the white guys I'm thinking about right now.
Oh, yeah.
Friends with. I'm like, oh, they all start with horror.
Yeah. It's the most effective way on a budget to show your skill as a director. But he did a Western called The Quick and the Dead. Then he did a superhero movie called Darkman.
I feel like I'd watch his Western because that would be probably cool.
Starring a young Leo DiCaprio.
I'm in. I'm fucking in. I look like him today.
Let me hit you with some fun facts, all right?
Oh my God.
Yes,
okay,
please.
this should be interesting.
Well, we talk about the influence of Mr. Sam Raimi. I'm going to go away from this film real quick and go back to the first Evil Dead. Some directors who owe a lot of their style to Mr. Sam Raimi, the Coen brothers, who worked on Evil Dead as editors assisting on the edit.
What?
And then if you watch Raising Arizona, which is one of my favorite comedies ever made, you watch that and tell me the camera work is not Sam Raimi.
Huh.
We talked about Edgar Wright's influence by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi wrote this script right after Evil Dead 2, I believe. He wrote it way back in the 90s. And just they sat on this. They had like different things they were going to do. And Sam Raimi, when they dusted this off, he approached Edgar Wright to direct.
Wow.
And Edgar Wright, one was directing Hot Fuzz at the time and like needed to focus on that.
That's a funny
God.
film.
Fucking love Hot Fuzz.
Oh my God.
Listen to Garrick.
Hot Fuzz.
Wow. He just closed his eyes and disappeared into a different.
Hot Fuzz. All I'm thinking about is that hallway scene.
I'll give you a moment.
I'm sorry. I just think that is comedy gold. I didn't even know you could be that funny without words.
Yeah, you got to rewatch Edgar Wright whenever you're about to do a project.
All right, you're back?
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back.
Okay.
But Edgar Wright, out of pure reverence for Sam Raimi, said, no, you have to direct this.
Wow.
There's no one else. No one else can do it. And then this is my favorite of these facts, is that in the bank scene that we were talking about, where the blood is
just
shooting out of her
like
nose and mouth.
Cannon.
It's like full on.
Yeah.
And by the way, we watched this on YouTube, which was the unrated cut. So
great.
you did
Thank
get
you
more
so
blood.
Much. Wow, that makes sense. It
I
felt
don't-
unrated.
I don't like unrated cuts. I think it's like this weird marketing ploy. If I could get on my soapbox for a second, one of my favorite movies ever, genuinely, and you're going to roll your eyes and say that makes so much sense, the 40-year version, I think is one of the true great comedies.
I didn't roll my eyes.
I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The only version that you can get now is the unrated version, and I think the unrated version sucks. It is just alternate scenes for alternate scenes' sakes, because like at some point in the mid
too
2000s,
big.
they were like, oh, if we do unrated, we could sell more copies. And it's all of the wrong. It's like, hey, we're just gonna put worse jokes in.
Oh.
And so many people that I know have watched. When I tell them I love the 40-year version, they're like, that movie's stupid. They watched the wrong version.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
In that scene, we have an Oscar winner
Oh,
as an extra.
what?
Octavia Spencer.
Oh my God.
Excuse the fuck
She's like
me?
in the background.
She's just a bank patron hanging out.
In 2009, Miss Spencer?
I know that she got on kind of late, which is
Damn, but
very
to
interesting.
know that the caliber
That
of
level of
talent
talent,
yeah.
was in a background and doesn't just become the greatest actress of like the fucking
you
time.
can't show off when you're an extra.
Shit.
What is she gonna do? Hide under the desk?
But
better?
you just assume like a story with her is
Yeah.
like she just stars in some like crazy big budget or like,
Right.
unsung indie hero or whatever, where
That's-
she's just the star.
I think that's like the secret game that I have in the back of my head whenever I watch movies. It's just like, who the fuck
Is
is
in
a
the
star
background.
now that's in the background? Like
I
who
feel that way
started off
about
as an
photos.
extra?
Every time I see someone in the background of a photo, I'm like, who are they?
What's their story?
Yeah.
What's their life? But this is
That's
like, I
amazing.
mean, it was one that is in the fun facts that I read, but I have rewatched the movie as an adult. I'm like, what the fuck?
You can see her.
Oh yeah, no, you
Oh
can
my God,
full
I'm
on
looking
see
it up
her,
right now.
and
Wow.
she does a fine job. But also, it's like how fucking ridiculous and stupid is Hollywood that they're not making enough roles for black women. That you have a talent of that caliber,
Yeah, just in the background.
struggling as a background actor.
Oh my God, look at her.
She's right there.
Wow.
She even looks like an Oscar winner in the fucking background as a
Look at the
extra.
side eye.
She's literally
You
like
give that
owning
Oscar
that
to
outfit.
her.
She looks like a fucking bank teller. She
Yeah.
played that to her most capability.
She killed it.
Wow.
Dear friends, now is the time where we reach the end.
Thank
We
you, Jesus.
decide if this movie is a pleasure, a guilty pleasure, or just plain guilty.
I considered
We all
going back
know.
on my antidepressants after this movie last night. I was like, my anxiety is fucking up here. I need to come way the fuck back down here. I feel like I should just go first, get out of the way. Obviously, I think this movie is a guilt. Even though I had a wonderful conversation, I hate to disagree. I hate to agree to disagree with you guys because I respect you both very deeply. But like truly, fuck both of you. Guilt as charged.
Oh my
Guilt, 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 guilt.
Okay, well, we found the limit,
Okay.
and I'll find
The
a
limit
horror
does
movie
exist.
The limit does exist.
I'll find you a horror movie that you like more.
Thank you. Go on. I feel like Rick, you're my questionable.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a
Okay.
pleasure 100%. There's no
But I could have got a
if
GP out of
ands,
you.
buts about it. It is
Okay.
100% a pleasure. I didn't know that sound design could make a movie like this. Could like truly Like the artistry jumped up a level once I started hearing the things and like noticing like the spit takes and essentially all of the Foley.
Movie.
You can, but that is a fucking pleasure. That is truly a feat that we don't even think about. I don't know. I don't have like, I'm kind of at a loss for words for how good the movie was.
Wow.
And I don't really watch horror movies like that. I like them well enough, but I had such a good time watching this movie. I put my phone down. I stopped taking notes after a while. I'm just going to watch it.
Here, Miles, you can put this in the beginning for the cold open. I don't think we've ever disagreed more. The three of us might not be friends after this podcast. But by all means, Zach, bring us home.
I love this.
I thought you were going to cry a little bit.
Gather round.
Okay.
Gather your friends.
Yeah.
Put the lights down low. Blast the fucking volume till your walls shake. And get ready to experience, not watch, experience Sam Raimi's triumphant return to horror. The master being a maestro, just fucking showing that he can do it better than anyone else in the game.
Fair. That's fair.
You know what, Kelsey? You shame
Okay, I'm gonna leave
me.
now. Miles, just for fucking like sake of like balance here, what do you think this movie is?
I think I saw it once several years ago. I loved it, and I love horror movies.
God damn it! This bullshit patriarchy. I don't know why patriarchy has anything to do with this, but I hate this.
I think it is like one of the most incredibly made movies. It's just fucking fun. I mean, I've said it all. It's so fun. It is my comfort movie. And yeah if you want to just purely go from a technical standpoint, I've never seen sound and score on such full display, like flexing their muscles.
Right. It's like to the point where the dialogue is low and then the music is super high.
Yes, Jared and I both went, what? Oh, why?
Whenever anything horrific comes on, it's just, it goes up from 8 to 9 for whatever reason.
Damn.
I just, look, I just needed people of the world to know this is just one of my loves that I needed to share. So thank you for giving me that time. But I genuinely want to know, if you have seen this movie, what do you think? And if you've never seen this movie and you got through this convo, first of all, sorry for spoiling it. But you're going to be fine. You're going to have a great time. I want you to watch it. If you're interested, if you like this kind of thing, let me know, because I just all I ever want to do is just scream about how much I love this. I have had the joy of seeing it in theaters twice. I want to see it in theaters as many times as I can. I fucking love it.
I'm actually jealous that you got to see it in theaters.
It'll play again and we'll go, man.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Like a stop. I would like to put like a one very terrifying movie limit every holiday. So every October for this podcast, I will allow one of these.
Oh, so you want to do one more next year?
No, one.
Oh, because I thought you didn't want to do
next year.
Okay, great.
I need a year to fucking cover, and I think I represent a large population of people that fucking are terrified by scary movies, and I don't feel bad for being such a fucking what this week.
Kelsey makes us watch Mary Kate and Ashley's Double
Right.
Toil and
You
Trouble.
both fucking love that movie. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God. Guys, thank you so much for listening. This has been another perfect
That's
episode.
true.
Don't forget to rate. It helps people find the show. I'm at Corn Daddy on all the things.
I'm at Kelsey Darragh on all the things.
I'm at Garrick Bernard on all of the things.